Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jordan and today I am going to be talking about dystopian novels. I am a huge lover of the dystopian genre, and not only that, I think it's a very important genre because it makes some really important commentary on the world and our societies and our governments. This is why in the past couple years I've been supremely disappointed in the types of dystopian novels I'm seeing in bookstores and on bookshelves. It seems that YA has kind of diluted what the meaning of dystopia is and its importance. This is kind of what I'd like to examine today. So before we really dive into the video, I'd like to first look at what the idea of utopia is. Merriam-Webster defines it as a place of ideal perfection, especially in laws, government, and social conditions. So that basically means that a utopian society is basically a perfect society. Obviously, this is an idea that humans have been extremely fascinated with, I'm assuming since the beginnings of organized society, because, well, humans are flawed and our societies are reflective of that. But it's also in our nature to strive for better. Even if I am wrong, political study, theory, and philosophy is not a new trend. Philosophers who focused on political theory can be found in ancient Greece, China, India, and the three Abrahamic religions as well, who applied their political theory to their faiths. It's no surprise then that what is considered to be one of the first fictional novels in the West is Utopia by Thomas More. In this work, which is split into two books, More responds to the problems in Europe at the time by creating a utopian island society called, shocker, Utopia. Admittedly, I have not read this novel, but the idea has permeated literature and storytelling ever since. Dystopian as a genre could almost be considered a response to this work. More created a society that he deemed to be perfect, but authors have taken that idea and said, I don't think it's that simple. So now let's move on to dystopia. Some of the most highly regarded novels in the last century have been dystopian. Works like 1984, A Brave New World, Fahrenheit 451, A Handmaid's Tale, and even the middle grade book, The Giver, all are highly regarded and depict societies that strive for perfection but ultimately fail because they ignore some vital part of humanity. That is what makes a strong dystopian world. It asks the question, what price would you be willing to pay for perfection? It is an epic struggle of humanity and morality, and I've actually discussed the importance of those themes in storytelling in another video, so I will link that down below in the description box. And then The Hunger Games came around. Now, I am not making this video to sound like a pretentious douche because, number one, I actually really like The Hunger Games, and number two, I haven't read all of the books that I mentioned above. But yeah, The Hunger Games had tremendous success and publishers took notice. But The Hunger Games actually does what I mentioned above. Panem is a society that strived for perfection but just got broken and twisted somewhere down the line. Not only that, but it is a heightened version of society today and makes a commentary on some of the perceived flaws of humanity. Basically, Suzanne Collins looked for flaws that exist today, flaws that are grounded in truth, and amplified them, which is what gives the story its power. But of course, with any hugely successful YA novel, a slew of other copycat novels will follow, and The Hunger Games was no exception. But what the others seemed to miss in their knockoffs was a strong sense of purpose and a message. One of the most notable and successful dystopian series following The Hunger Games was, of course, Divergent. And while I liked the book when I first read it, I think it utterly failed in creating a believable and meaningful dystopian society. The society in that novel is simplistic, basically dividing humans into 5 categories based on one dominant trait, like bravery or selflessness. But we, as an audience, know that humans are more complex than that. We don't just fall into one category. Even the characters within the novel kind of contradict it because it would be incredibly boring to have characters with only one trait. And while it's possible that they would hold the one trait to higher esteem, it would be impossible for everyone not to have at least some degree of divergence. But I am getting off track. When Divergent became successful as well, it basically showed publishers that as long as you have a strong female protagonist and a big bad government for her to overcome, it would sell. And that is when things really took a turn for the worse. Countless novels have followed these two that depict dystopian societies that have no real message or purpose. In fact, I'd go so far as to say they have no basis in reality. The world building is crude and underdeveloped, so there's just basically a bunch of evil and incoherent rules placed on the society for no obvious reason. These societies are not striving for perfection, they're just corrupt and mean. It seems that authors nowadays have completely forgotten about the origins of dystopian, and in turn it seems readers have also forgotten about the importance of dystopian and the commentary that it's supposed to make on society and our world as we know it. It seems that instead it's just about teens overthrowing a big bad government. And you know what? It can be that, but it has to have meaning too. Now, that's not to say that all these books are bad, because they're not. They're just incredibly frustrating to me because I would like to see novels that challenge me. These novels are wasted opportunities to make commentary on the world and society as we know it and perceive it. When I read a book, I want it to make me challenge what I think I know, or at least leave me with some lingering thoughts, and I know I can't be the only one to want that. So that's all I have for you today. I really hope that this video has helped maybe make you realize some of the things that dystopian is doing wrong nowadays. My hopes is that in the future it will kind of stray back into what it originally was about, and that we will once more find meaning in these works. Also, you may have noticed that I hit 100 subscribers, which may not seem like a lot to you, but it seems like a ton to me, and I am so very grateful for every single one of you. You may have noticed that I don't do a bunch of tag videos on this channel because I mostly do discussions and reviews and talk about tropes and cliches and other genre things like today's video. But tomorrow I will be doing the Rip It or Ship It with an interactive twist, so be sure to stay tuned for that and check that out because there is definitely some audience participation, so I'm super psyched about that, and I hope you check that out.